It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of paper without resistance or sound. The two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open. It's slightly, ever so slightly. Whoa, what have we here? A bridge with loose nails and rotten-fisted wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
Sure, they never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks... The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's nothing to worry about.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken care of formal protocol. Did you? Wonderful.
Quickly, methodically, like an electric printing machine.
It is a relief to see a double your freighter here. The situation is precarious, to say the least. It needs a quick solution, or we will have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivachol West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. It was the Union who strung him from that tree. My hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before Crenell indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Débardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a Hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath. Too many things have already gone wrong. Lieutenant Double Yefreta Dubois. All we can do is keep that which is not from following suit. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eendracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell. I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors, their tribunal, it's what they believe. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You'll meet her soon enough, you feel.
If you mean did I see him alive, yes. But I did not know him. Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
Indeed, this matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Somehow, I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask. More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. Glad to have been of assistance.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Sorry, sir. I still haven't heard back from the database people. Try calling again later. Is there anything else I can do for you? 57, over.
In the cabin, you see...
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Inter-Islary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
This is it, the scene of the party. The fire pit. Cigarettes and empty bottles all evidence it. Not as such. I'm talking about what came after the party scene. Looks like they were here a while, judging from all the bottles. The sunken motor carriage provided them a focal point.
Looks like it. Hey, let's keep moving, detective.
Somehow, the
Hi, officer. Anything I can help you with? A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. It's sometimes called Elysium. The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place. The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I have time for questions, and that was actually the second one.
Indeed, you're always confused as to your whereabouts. Ask her about the cool sword. Helps to break the ice.
Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's to intimidate folks, mostly. It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. Nothing fancy. From time to time, people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time. No, I'm afraid not. Tempting to confiscate the blade I used to keep these animals in check would put me in an early grave. What makes you think we haven't? The truth is that goes for men too. But they put on an act for us. Pretend like everything's good.
That does not go for real men. It does not go for you. Show her. Show her the wonder. Coach means the expression.
sure. It looks as if you could face down any horror in the world with that same unchanging grin. It's like a shield.
The traces of her laughter are still there, in her eyes, fading fast.
Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, I ended up marrying. Guess I enjoyed the way he bled.
If it is, then why the melancholy?
Gone. To the waves. The sea took him. It was a long time ago. Who knows? Maybe he fell over. He didn't respect the sea. Went out there, drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat was found floating empty. The bloated corpse turned up 2 weeks later. Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles.
She really liked those muscles, though. It's in the way she pronounces sinewy.
Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and went on. Life didn't really change that much for me and the kids.
This is neither a touchy nor a very interesting topic for her. She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action.
Like I said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff. I sell the fish to people in the Delta to serve at their fancy restaurants. Authentic. Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up.
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore. Bottles, drugs also. Lost cargo in general. Most of the time.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
Well, the RCM has to wait for another one, because some army folks came by, took it in the middle of the bay, and blew it up. The blast was surprisingly timid for such a huge spiky thing. Let's see. Who are you looking for? I don't think I know what these are. Care to elaborate? Aha! Like snowmen. Two odd guys have been wandering around here, nose in sand, talking nonsense about snowmen and the like. Right. Not only snowmen, also green men, monkey men burning rhinos. You get the picture.
Oh, you're getting it. And it is gorgeous.
Don't really know. Further down the peninsula, I guess. I mean, that's where they were heading. Who else are you looking for besides snowmen? Yeah, I'm not really looking for that anymore. Not much into the middle-class ones either. Could do with some landed gentry, but apparently they don't make those anymore. I wish I could help you with that, but I haven't seen your working-class husband. Maybe I can help you find someone else.
She seems genuinely sorry for not being able to help you.
Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Sure is. The sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue. Aye. Sunny days. You got a problem with that?
No, ma'am. We have no quarrel with sunny days.
Good. It would have been bad news had it turned out it wasn't a sunny day. Bad news for the skiff, bad news for the nets, bad news for the kids.
There's a moment's silence. She looks at the rain streaming down the yellow belly of the boat.
In time, when the sea turns and the winds settle, she will be ready.
My prediction, it will be at least 2 days.
Oh? Who? Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench.
We can sit on bench.
You can revisit the bench.
Great news. The boat is big enough for a grown man like you to fit underneath it in a supine position. I don't know. Sleeping? What do people do under boats? This is... Huh?
Sarcastic self-pity is not what we need at this moment, officer. I understand the situation looks grim, but we must continue with our investigation.
You have a home somewhere. All cops do. When this is done, you can return.
Welcome to the fishing village. Please lean in closer. I have cataracts. I still have a golden ear. Come, come. Oh, welcome, police officer.
We are not here to cause any trouble, madame.
Oh, of course. Last time we saw you around here was 12 years ago. You also came to take care of trouble then. Wish you did. But still, in Martinez, you're considered an ill omen. No, not you personally. I meant the RCM. Some of the men got into a fight. He was brooding, needed some help opening the door. You got it open for...
She says it as if he was on some kind of spiritual retreat.
Oh, the you...
That's you, all right. A black hound licking your own heels.
Maybe they are afraid because you're an ill omen. But you're still welcome here. As long as... I'm sorry there's not a lot of room to park the motor carriage. And not a lot... Ah, look at me ramble on. What brings you to us? Stay? That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack. I won't charge you for it. Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM. No one is using it, and God knows it's not much anyway. You can stay there. Oh, don't. It's your choice. No skin off my teeth. My kids grew up and left like they do. The house is long empty now. I live in the small side attachment. Aye, the room is pretty bare bones, but it's got a bed and roof over it. That's more than some folks have around here. You best not be plotting another revolution under my roof. We barely got through the last one. But the room, don't make an old woman regret opening her house to the police.
Well, if you are not in the hostel in the morning, I'll know where to find you. Here, in a shack.
He's a little relieved you're no longer in that room.
Just us. It's barely a village anymore. This is pretty much a non-place. A gap. A blank spot on the...
The place is so pornographically poor, it's not even funny.
Well, there's Lillian and her kids. A few new folks live in the house to the east. And then there's the drunks. Not a pretty sight, but there's... Lillian is tough. Tougher than the men here, at least. Sooner or later, you'll see for yourself. Don't have to look long to find these guys. The lack of wealth is the one thing we've got in abundance.
Riddles. Fits with the general ambiance here.
Aye. Sometimes it's as though I'm also gotten lost inside this nameless nothing. Oh, it seems to be a common theme these days. Isn't that what people always think when they are lost? Something I can do for you to find your way, officer? Over there, you can find more of the same. Shacks and trees growing wild. An old military hospital and its surroundings. Or it used to be. After the war, it was turned into a Goodwill hospital for now the area is crisscrossed with nameless streets and makeshift cinder block houses. The Goodwill ran out. The staff left and the place was shut down. It's long gone by now. Here, for you? No, officer. The only money we have here is some coins the drunks tried hiding from their women and then forgot about.
She nods, rinsing another piece of cloth.
Not much. There's the abandoned church, the DeLorean Church of Humanity. Some things just don't fly, officer. Look around. Who'd go to...
So, they don't hold serve?
No, we've tried, but things just keep happening. Crime, accidents.
She's not telling you all she knows. Keep her talking.
Well, there's that music. Music from a... And now, suspicious-looking people are sneaking.
Interesting. You could look into this ruckus if you have the time.
Before you get to the church, there's some ruins. An apartment complex, or some kind of electrical plant. I don't know exactly. A pre-war place. It used to be something. Of note, the old fish market up on the boardwalk. But it's closed. No one. That's why it's closed. It was now, what catch we do bring in goes straight into a lorry for the Delta or somewhere else. What? You're one of those real estate people with big plans? If you want a development opportunity, you used to be a supply depot, we think, sending goods and ammo, and now you know everything there is to know about this coast. Me? No one. Just an old washerwoman. Mother called me in. Now it's your turn, Mr. Quite a handle you got there. So many titles. One of them double.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks us. The other one looks indistinguishable from him. He watches his brother kick the stone with his tongue lolling out. This one doesn't say,
Lily's our mum.
the stone kicker laughs. The other one laughs. Wow, so intellectual. The stone kicking isn't even of very high caliber. Anyone can do that. The stone kicking one becomes frantic all of a sudden.
He looks just like me.
The boy doesn't answer. His brother throws another rock. Both of...
You're bad with kids. Don't worry, everyone is. How about we do some police work now? We're not getting anything here.
The door has seen better days. The layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt.
I'll wait outside to give you some time and prep. After we are done with the day, I'll still be staying.
The key turns with a sat. the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin. The water reflects back a vague image of your face. You'll be looking like a pansy without the chops. A fucking pansy. Your hand trembles as you scratch your cheek. Oh no, that's not how a grown man shaves. Thank God, I would have cut your throat. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflect. The bed is comforting.
Hello, mister.
She clutches a small stuffed animal. Occasionally, she twirls it around.
Yes, I am. Little Lily. You know my mom? That's nice. My mom is great. She's never angry or anything. Yes. They don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. They look the same. Sometimes I can't tell them apart. They look identical. It's Lammy. He's my friend. Sort of. Like...
Lambie is a stuffed lamb that, admittedly, has seen better days. One of the eye buttons is missing, and the fur is tattered in several parts.
Yes. Lammy has lived a long life. Lammy was a... Yes! Lammy was a resolutionary. It's a grouse.
You might be able to get on Gart's good side if you replace the broken scooter you almost certainly broke.
I don't know. Sure, just go and get it. I don't like it anyway. It looks angry.
All right, you just need to grab it from the ceiling and go.
Oh, I had gloves. Very big ones. Heavy, too.
Where did you get these gloves?
Found them when Lemmy and I were playing hide and seek. In an empty house. Where no one lives. I think someone hid them there.
She doesn't want you to think she stole them.
I hid them. The twins were going to take them. They're stupid.
We're going to need those gloves. It's for important police business.
Oh. They're in my sandcastle. Behind our house. Under the sand. You can break the castle. It's not very good. Bye!
Hey, Tequila! Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality So what's happening? Yeah, Tequila Sunset.
He says it like it's obviously your name. Like you call some good. These people know your true name. Looks like it has preceded you, Mr. Sunset. More on that later.
That's the spirit. I used to shape reality into my image. Sadly, things aren't going that well in Idiot Doom Spiral Land. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great piece of ass back. No word from my business, but we are saving the world.
Please! Please don't go!
Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. So now, it's a pirate's life for me. It's you. You're Tequila Sunset. We've met before. Don't you remember? Aha.
Tequila. Tequila Sunset. Something ominous there.
Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday. And by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean the word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer. And that it would be really fucked up if you shot...
Does that sound like something you'd do? Yeah, probably. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this. We get our drink on 24/7. One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza, followed by a series of dings and bangs.
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking? The billboard?
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in. Anyway, there was a brief silence. A gasp of silence, if you will. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of an alcoholic. What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right? The time hath come! So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, The time hath come for Tequila Sunset, the end of all things! Your reality contracted.
Your hands cramp on the
We ran towards the ice, whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was too late to get in there. Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolence.
What else was there to do?
We asked about the whole Tequila Sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now, and insisted that we all call you that from then on. I'm not sure. I think you were the event. Tequila Sunset. You know, as opposed to a tequila sunrise, which is long gone. No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real name. Ours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, how they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet Tequila's a fucking legend around the...
If you only knew.
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked
Please, don't open that door.
No one's fucked.
Abigail!
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers.
It's more like you were
No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the star of the show. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
It's not meant as a joke. He's sorry for the hermit cop.
yeah, you said that it was okay that you crashed your car. This was before you started talking about how the Pinkies were always trying to fuck you. You kept apologizing for being... You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, stupid, stupid, stupid. It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right, why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really.
The gleam in his eyes and the slouch in his... You might get scammed here.
No, the reality of the situation requires a rather modest contribution. A little motivational package. I don't want it, man. I need it. Can't tell. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Classy.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Don't call Abigail!
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder/junior partner at I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cult. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm. But the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. 22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. Worrying about it did, with my trusty Sansari. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys.
His eyes are clouded. His eyes are your eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality... Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Ouch, indeed. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying. So I made my way across the yard, standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my... I wish I were, Tequila. I wish I were. Instead of my apartment key, I'd taken the key to the office. I rang my neighbors' buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Though people are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be...
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd... Anyway, Long story short, life spiraled out of control. So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time.
Why didn't you go to the authorities?
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen. Yeah, maybe I've exaggerated, sir. But what matters is that it's true to my subjective experience. Anyway.
Truly, he has the soul of an artist.
Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice...
You of all people should empathize with this. Perhaps this lost jacket is something you could help with?
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high... I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing...
If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't.
Well, you know, sex sells. That's the first rule of advertising. Maybe you're right. Who knows? Maybe we were behind the curve? What? You've never seen 100% pretty nice, huh? This might be...
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel... Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TM, to be associated with a number of exotic... And then there's the...
Wow, you're lucky.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them. My fellow members of the...
Hey, Tequila!
Shut the fuck up.
I thought he was...
Don't.
And this is Abs. So yeah, that's basically up. Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand... Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you... Yeah, exactly. You're here. If I knew where I lost it, don't you think I'd have it? I mean, maybe I was up by the boardwalk, somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if anyone's seen it. I'm all ears, Tequila. You too.
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. So, from a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen, Salam Rocky Baye, badass on-the-edge disco cop. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along. The noxious odor emanating from...
Don't you call her? Yeah! Don't call Abigail! Uh-huh. Abigail.
You're not going to get... Never thought you'd see such a thing in your life. But this guy's a little too drunk.
Don't call Abigail!
The man hiccups. Then he snorts and beckons you.
Don't call Abigail. Don't call Abigail. Don't you fucking call her! Hear me?
There's no use in yelling at
The drunk man starts.
Don't! No!
There was little
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy? So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed. And by speed, I mean amphetamine. Aye, by amphetamine, I mean speed. Sure did, buddy boy. That's why I said amphetamine. I mean speed. I mean amphetamine. I got both. Good, my man. Now what? Oh, the system's been good to old Rosemary here, and I'm milking. You see, friend, man makes his own luck. And I made mine real good. Got my hands on 3 bottles, bought cigarettes, bought beer, even bought a bit.
The hook. Where is it? I can't see it.
Of course. It is what it is, you know. What it's always been. People, buddy. See, friend, it's real valuable. Worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture. You know, it's funny, actually.
He's finding it difficult to focus his watery.
What? This guy. Oh, this is medicinal spirit. I got one of those scientific ampoules a few months ago. Torpedo, they call it. It's supposed to... Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. 5 lemons with half a pack of butter and you're good to go. It really isn't. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of help. Those arseholes charged me 4 real to remove the damn thing. But I came out on top after all. But the idiots left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology. I like 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff from the back room. 2 I already sold to these fine gentlemen here.
Don't say it.
Real and...
Well done. That's a much more reasonable price right there. Makes sense now.
Just make sure to enjoy that one, friend.
If you drink this, then you'll die. That's a fact. And that's why we're going to save you from yourself and store this as a sellable item. Go.
In the civilized world, it's a custom to tip.
Weather has not been kind to Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see
The little castle? The reigning lord must have come upon some really tough times to let...
the walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets.
Congratulations. That's the gauntlets down, then. We're doing good on the armor collection front.
The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is...
Come on! Get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out.
It's safe to assume this is their leader. Or at least he thinks.
Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just did...
I'm sure you will feel right at home.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair.
Hello, I'm Andre.
His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm.
This is my posse.
The young man with earrings looks...
An egghead. Egg! Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music We have many in the pipeline, officer. You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish...
Honest for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Places it.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues. Which brings me to the problem of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed that there... I'm talking about the church. And I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge.
Doghead. Burnouts.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs.
Strike that!
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts holed up in there were the worst kind.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze. Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
The spooky kind. I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is that...
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. People just want to spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place is bad.
Thank you. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what they're... All right, man.
Andre is obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchange giddy looks.
I asked Noid to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. A padlock. It's a temp...
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
Of course. Noid, give the officer the key.
All right.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a ka-ching. The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly. The young man with ribcage-shaped suspenders looks at you, standing. The word august, used as an adjective. That's how cool it feels to be old and cool in the eyes of the young. Let's face it, you're near like a tequila sunset. Are you sure? It's probably too late to be a tequila sunrise now.
Not long. Like a week, maybe? I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive. Okay.
I'm sorry too. I guess it wasn't... Me too. I shouldn't have that kind of power over another person. I'm not the one with...
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses. Well, there's also...
This machinery is of the...
When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew...
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. What? Andre!
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with...
No!
Which other one?
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone or something like you aren't alone.
It wasn't quite...
Not human, as in a ghost.
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling. Like some... Yeah, you know. The way it was...
It was stalking a cell. Exhibiting ambush behaviour.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time.
So he hasn't even been in there lately.
You should ask her about it.
There probably is no crab man. Don't let them draw you in with this.
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably.
With a small surge of PEA, alertness fills you. As if to say, this...
It means like one of those rich boy private radio stations. Where you can...
Must be. Even Kuno knew that.
Not that we would know anything about that.
He appears sincere enough.
We're getting derailed here. In short, you can tell to Noid about the machines. He'll tell you, well, honestly...
This is a below-feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically, he is attempting to weaponize idiocy.
Hey now, I'm 70. Don't let all that technology fool you. Where do you think that... Sure. What? Oh yeah, that's a meteor name for the...
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagogue.
You know, of Meteo. Concerning Meteo. Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, and they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericarnassian Church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, like, made the innocentic system, no? Totally.
The Pericarnassian Church is about love. And Nordic love is unity. Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the base, as if testing the waters. Feels good. Feels good.
That's pretty downbeat. I think I speak for all of us when I say we expected the law to be more open to the idea of love, unity, and the Pericarnassian... Yeah, I guess it is.
The one with the large head is still looking at you, nodding his head, waiting for your body to start moving. His expectation is fierce.
Yes. What? Yeah, good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. Oh, it's the one they sell at...
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of.
It does. Told you we have a smell problem.
Ether? I don't No.
He sniffs that it doesn't take a forensic scientist to guess it's drug. However, their breathing is regular, their jaws stay put and their pupils aren't dilated. So, not under the...
The what now? Oh!
He's like an actor.
Yes, that's all Nosefed's doing. Without the nose...
Nosefed is the shit.
Yes. What?
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
As always, we'll be...
Wow, so someone's been a little boring.
So you had a talk with Andre. It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your... Yeah, gotta compare. I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our science and weird stuff. Wires going into water. Gives off a spice. Nothing's wrong with
The sickest. That's perhaps why it should be researched.
Most of it doesn't exist. Psionic powers. The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric.
It's not easy to reach a harmonic resonance of signs without...
Yes, further sign matching would do good for us. One way to achieve this would be by getting us into the church.
A young man with peroxide blonde hair, as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous evangelical secret.
Hardcore! Hardcore! Hardcore to the mega! Internally coherent.
Encore! All right!
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the subtle...
Hardcore! Ah!
Is it though? But is it? I mean...
Feels like you should reply with the very pinnacle of idiocy here, so that things get totally transcendent. But you haven't gotten there yet, so you don't know what to say.
I am the making...
Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths? A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s.
Oh.
She must be a cell. It's cold out here, but she's not. Everyone knows drugs make you invulnerable to cold. You bet this one likes to party.
That's my name. I take it you have met the others. Did they tell you about the church and the club thing? Will you help us? Great. Let us know if there's any progress, will ya? We've been waiting for weeks. Huh?
Maybe she didn't hear you.
So should you. I don't know, some kind of a store?
What did she just say? That's not how a civilian is supposed to address an officer of the law.
I'm sorry I said fuck the hat. My whole family swears and it rubbed off on me. Oh, that. You're not gonna believe me.
She's less prone to blurt it out, grab man, than the others.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother. You know, strange old clothes. And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab. Down the church wall. I think he stopped right before he got to the floor. Then just hung there like that.
Like a crab, you say?
It was too dark.
Come on. She obviously could. She already went into detail.
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff.
A crab? And
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw. I don't blame you. I mean, I wouldn't believe me either. My associates, I haven't got much to say about them. Of course I do. I just don't tell people.
To the cops.
Me? I'm a silver bird. Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but... This is a portable recording device. It's for actually just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like this ice. The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up struck. Same place I got the recorder from, the Palaceum. Oh man. You haven't been to the Palaceum? It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock.
Thinking about it really cheers her up. It's a long way from here, though.
Oh yeah. Guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck. Or really be a Palaceum going kind of person. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either. That's cool. Sucks, man. Was there something else? About the contact mic, perhaps? Okay. Recording, I guess. I think I'm recording cracks in the ice. But there's no way to tell. Not without headphones. My boyfriend sold them. I don't know, man. Things.
A lie. They were probably pawned off for something.
The musicians in the Palaceum used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting the tapes together. Then, anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be, like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
She looks at the recording device. The thing she thought would fill her hours with joy and escape. It's turning out to...
take this, your call.
No, man, fuck that, I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that.
It's okay.
Yeah, maybe you were right about the hat. Yeah, the boys think it could be a place, like the Palaceum or something. Stupid.
And who are these boys?
Yeah, Andre and the guys.
And why is that?
They got too much stuff crammed in. Didn't you see it yourself? It's mostly music stuff, like this tape recorder, but bigger. Yep, they were pretty. I'm sorry we sold those. That stuff is more expensive than I am. Go ahead. It's supposed to become, like, a club. For a nod, except that, yeah. You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments. Synthesizers and...
You see clear, beautiful, violent flashes of light. Light cutting through.
You know, anodic. What do you need to know? Go ahead. Okay.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast. The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together. You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but there is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. It's the contrast between the cheery, chemical yellow and the rigor mortis. As if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead, or the dead guy didn't care that he was. Either way, you get the sense the forces of future are at work here. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to...
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquents. For Revachol ZOC, the moral intern defined junior delinquents as minors between the ages of 10 and 16 who have committed an act in violation of the law. These acts aren't called crimes as they would be for adults. Crimes committed by minors are called delinquent acts. This was part of your officer's exams. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. The lock turns.
Let's go.
A great whoosh of air rushes in the heart. The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent. And then it's gone. It seems the sound here is detached from its... You can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more. Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers. The lieutenant points to his ears.
Can you hear anything? The church just has strange...
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is.
Please, detective, not this again.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. The silence, the darkness, they've enveloped. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows. Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away. It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. You see something hanging from the rafters. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. The shadow is a man. A man made the crab man. The man leaned forward a little.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. You come to the... Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready...
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's... Hey, and what was that about? The bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it. I know it's hard to admit that you got a problem.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Look at these crazies. What is this shit?
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it. I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering.
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a satchel of tools over there?
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be something I just did. Now I use those same hands in service of something greater than my own restlessness. It's all just for the mother, man. No need to... I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. Nah, ese, it's not like that.
Do you remember your name, sir?
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me. Your place amongst your fellas. Your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore. That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters. This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly. Oh, that's no sense. She is a cavity in the dark, beyond sense.
His adoration is beyond sexual. This cavity is something that no human form has.
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
It's not like that at all, man.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
I heard that before, Way. And I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think.
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a dream. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out. I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Police raid. Oh,
Did you...
not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its... The ones in the tent outside? Right? I see them. Guessing they're the... Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one. And why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up. Might even be nice.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Other spooker?
The Aita is Grandma?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. That's what I said, Holmes. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. I'm afraid not, Essay.
Or search through her radio computer. A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window.
A radio computer. And it's turned on.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. A radio computer. We have one. No, I don't know how to operate it.
A quaint little box of radio waves. You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March. Nothing happens. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing. The static gets louder, slowly filling.
Good afternoon, Fortress Accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? The filament you have inserted into the core. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is this the personal log? Good. Clear.
Let's look around. Maybe he knows something.
No. Received. Votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? The company on whose name? One moment. Fortress Accident SCS produces revolutionary.
That's not bad.
I wouldn't know. Any other questions? Yes, I am.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are paranoid.
I work as a repeater As for me, well...
Doesn't it get lonely? Sitting there all...
Lonely? Why would it...
That's why
Now, please tell me if there's... Goodbye.
the machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing...
Oh, hey, Wei. There's coffee in the back.
Coffee in the back. Something familiar about that. Coffee and stale cookies.
Too many times, essay. You need it for something.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity La Nilita Pequeña when I hear it. Look, man, I'm at liberty to talk about the sacred blaze of the mother's glorious heart, but not about the coffee. I think we're done here, essay.
That was, however,
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent play and print buttons. The speaker comes to life.
Good afternoon. Good. Please repeat. Good. I have unlocked the filament. Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can... Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is... The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like the first entry made on the 4th arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Look, the lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while. Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't see. Even one of the... What was that about narcotics? This could prove to be interesting.
I doubt that we can find any. It's just idle. Nothing spooky about this place either.
Then why doth the lieutenant protest against spending 7th of February, 51? Finally, got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking Esca something.
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna. Had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art, drinking somewhere out of... But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to...
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading. Her friends? Colleagues? She must be quite educated if she knew how to say...
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio...
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It swallows sound.
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence, with a...
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples. March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now, fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say, that disco man must be a cell.
The girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles, crackers, ping-ping energy drinks, water, toothpaste, gum. Immediately interrupted by the sound of a strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
You won't find any answers from here. It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room.
We should talk to her. After she had...
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the ocean feels distant. It's ever in the darkness. You sense her eyes on you, inspecting you. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects. She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You. As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after. There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to...
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a pang of guilt? The lieutenant is leaving something out.
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid while the old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the... Well, your station was involved, I hear.
How come the lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them. I am pretty sure it was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything more about it, why it was conducted, or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters. Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by... It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now. Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin.
The woman looks by in silence, smiling enigmatically.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both. Unknown. Something during the raid the lieutenant mentioned, or just hooligans looking. The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses. Small figures of wise men, common men. Worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen. Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then, along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau.
Death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in DeLorean sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however. It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of justice, union, prudence, and force. So do I.
The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a crack. Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence Dolores Day. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge, the highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit. More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades. No, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent. Many things, you know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor, draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed? The past. It's a silo of... No, you must know. Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court. A court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the speech. It was on her advice that Irene Le Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what it wow indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. As did we all. The lands of the Mes and the Occident, and even far in a city called Advesperaskit in Vesper, Messina, her homeland. She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied-out plaza with the crowd far away. Already, her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the innocent. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her one of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to interfere in the course of our history. We were supposed to come up with... Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a fern. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology. Terrifying is a term too terrifying. It's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her. You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, she was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal. For the campaigns, the Mesk state tried to detach itself from innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education suggesting those who fight against... She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Yefrater, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? She's been dead for 300 years. I am almost None of this is, in fact. This church, the court.
The mother of human.
What is it? No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper. I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can...
Did she say over 16 years of experience? She must... That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church.
Nope. Yes. And... I don't care. I don't care about crap men.
Wow, she really doesn't. Not afraid.
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. I use the AR-1 as my RAIN prefect processing. RAIN prefect. My radio computer. Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you? All right. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on the front. The unified front of radio waves. Licensed and controlled by Lintel in the East Insulindic region. It's all around us. That's what...
Like love.
I guess it is. So far, I've been quite satisfied with it. But it's not the cheapest one on the market. So I wouldn't recommend... Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything.
She liked telling me this. It calmed her nerves.
I'm working.
The machine seems almost alien.
Could you just... shh... for a moment? Or get to the point. I really need to focus on something. They are connected to my RAIN prefect. Whatever...
Short and terse. There you have it. Whatever she's using them for, they're hers.
Great. You really like those questions, don't you? I'm conducting scientific research here. I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in...
Wait. She's looking for a disruption in the radio. The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than... Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to... What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have?
That's a little above your pay grade at the moment.
I don't know. Are we? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But how do I? You measure it by its surroundings. By that which does exist. Which is what I've been trying to do. I've tried, but honestly, it's not progressing very well. Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made. Strange things may flourish.
There's this place at the back of the church. A place where all audible vibrations seem to...
The Pillar of Silence?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical core. I know. No.
She sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning. Her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine.
Because it's just trial and error. Trying to locate the swallow, And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. Great. Thanks. The swallow, you mean? Great. What?
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Yeah. Like all the time. My tent neighbors don't really... Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with... This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not... Take a guess, why don't you? I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you?
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
Yes, what is it?
Our tenant, the policeman. What do you want?
That's an excellent question, ma'am.
You're trying to wink at me, aren't you? Are you getting a reward for it at least? What? You're fetching someone?
In fact, he does.
None of my business, either way. Anyhow, you might ask Lillian if she's seen anything lately.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. Still no word, I'm afraid, sir. I know it must be frustrating. Was there anything else you wanted to ask? 57, over.
In the cabin, you see a set of...
I've got nothing to say.
Can I help you?
What is this thing? What, the interior decorating kind? You know, I'm sorry. This is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank you.
People just don't know how to accept gifts, especially taxi.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Right. What about him? Honestly, not that different from you.
That's one way to put it, yes. What else? He was wearing a dark brown leather jacket with a bright blue inner line. It's his cool jacket. I even tried throwing it away once, but... Well,
She's thinking about him out in the cold, in some park, or...
honestly, not that different from you. Well, what else? It's his... I even tried... Well...
She's thinking about him. She gives you a short nod.
Hello again. How can I help you? Sure, let me have a look. All right, let's see it. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't need blood. Besides, this gear cost...
It feels like he would have accepted the risk if he hoped to profit from it. It's not greed, though. Deep down...
I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment. More than sure. What else have you got? Oh, a photic?
You have absolutely no idea.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, Pat.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing. It's hard to say. His gaze wanders south.
Excuse me? There are things even a cop... I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way. Wait, the aura of the seven seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much. On another island called Laurentine. What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you... What about you?
Is that what it is? No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
You lost your gun. Oh, man. But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone. And I know it wasn't easy to ask.
Looking for something?
Right to work! to work! Shame on you!
Don't think so.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea. Silence. He takes the photo. You see dead flesh.
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in. Yeah.
He's clenching his teeth.
What it means.
In what must have been Seminine.
I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush in Benital, 41. Monsoon season. He's on a reconnaissance mission.
Benital is one of the inhabited islands of the Seminese archipelago near the pair.
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kept villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting
with some strange emotion. This is about to get really graphic. Last moment to back off.
Our boy, he's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see action soon. At dawn, he comes upon two kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe we shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted, expired in the hands of Sarge Mason, the kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch. God, Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her gold body. Drowned in a creek a week ago.
Something stirs in your stomach. There's a word on the tip of your tongue. Colorless, odorless. It's...
No. I was in the domain. In Jamrock. Being a bouncer. Go ahead.
all right now. Free commerce! Keep the goods flowing! On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them, littering his dead skin. Free flow of commerce!
Fucking bug.
I'm going to interpret that as a yes.
How about you fuck?
Okay, of course.
There could be weapons aiming at us right now, somewhere above, in the buildings. The man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. Slowly. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 50. Still no word, I'm afraid, sir. 57.
In the cabin,